Gilmore Girls, or How My Wife Became a Certified Vegan Chef. Did you notice the title Gilmore Girls is missing the short article the? Since Gilmore Girls doesn't have that short article, I thought perhaps I should write a short article about Gilmore Girls to express my deep concern for that missing three-letter article. Or perhaps what I really want to do is to express my over-the-top gratitude for the extreme talent of Amy Sherman-Palladino, her husband Dan, and their entire writing staff in creating such a menage of colorful, wacky, diverse, and entertaining characters. Okay, so rather than write an article, since I know Amy doesn't like articles, I've decided to write a letter to Amy to thank her for her many hours of entertainment. So here it is. Dear Amy, let me introduce myself. I'm author, musician, composer, and semi-pro poker player Tim Dr. Hope Anders. I write children's books to give kids a head start on life under the pseudonym Dr. Hope JAPD. The JAPD stands for Just a Pretend Doctor. I also write books for grown-ups, music CDs, and can be seen on TV playing poker. Alrighty then, now that you know who I am, let's talk about how I got hooked on your Gilmore Girls. I was introduced to Gilmore Girls by my loving wife of 34 years who spends most of her time taking care of her somewhat incapacitated 96-year-old mother. My wife, who is a certified health coach, was studying to be a vegan chef, but couldn't devote the time to her studies because of the time required to take care of her mother. Then she came up with this clever, nefarious plan. Get me to spend hours keeping her company by watching Gilmore Girls so she could get to her studies. She had previously seen the entire series and knew I would be interested in the Gilmore Girls story because Lorelai, the tremendously funny heroine of Gilmore Girls, had to raise her daughter as a single mom, much like my tremendously funny mother had to do for me after the Catholic Church forced her to leave my father, the love of her life, who just so happened to be a Catholic priest. And yes, I did write a book about their love story. My wife was right. Just one episode of Gilmore Girls is all it took, and I was hooked. The humorous dialogue between Lorelai and her 16-year-old daughter Rory had me in stitches. The crafty banter continued as I was introduced to the complexities of each amusing character portrayed by excellent actors, accentuated by tasteful and appropriate music and sound effects that complemented the surroundings, confrontations, and humor. This show has some of the quirkiest characters I have ever seen. Michelle, the French concierge, has the impeccable ability to be condescending while making you smile and scratch your head. Vous êtes très parfait, Michelle. Kirk has a million odd jobs. Okay, I exaggerate. It's more like 999,464. And when I say odd jobs, rather than odd as an isolated piece of work, I mean odd as in strange, abnormal, and offbeat. Kirk's silly antics slay me. Then, of course, there's Mrs. Kim, who loves her daughter in an overbearing, overprotective sort of way. Chali sumnika, Mrs. Kim. And Lane, we love Lane, Rory's best friend. Annyeonghaseyo, Lane. Even though no one says it, she is the leader, driving force, and creator of her rock and roll band. You go, girl. Rory is a delightful, well-read, humorous young girl who falls in love with Dean, her first love, then Jess, then her college sweetheart, Logan, all of whom get their attributes and faults discussed by her grandparents during her Friday night dinner commitment. Evenings with Emily and Richard are always filled with double entendre amidst haughty, arrogant hyperbole. The The caloric content of their conversation far exceeds the lavish repast of which they partake. How did Lorelai ever survive her childhood and maintain such a loving, caring personality? Then we have Lorelai's many loves. Max, the teacher, Chris, the father of her child, Jason, her dad's partner, and of course the one everybody wants her to be with, Luke Danes. We all love Luke. In spite of his sometimes gruff exterior, he is the kindest, most helpful, caring, compassionate person on the planet. He is an example to all of us. We all should try to be more like him. Amy, are you in cahoots with my wife? For hours each evening, I would watch Gilmore Girls with my mother-in-law. We would get angry together at certain horrific situations, laugh at the comic repartee, and cry our eyes out at the emotional twists and turns of the dilemmas facing our beloved Lorelai and Rory. More than once, as the tears were streaming down my cheeks, my wonderful, crafty wife would bring to us a delightful vegan meal that she had created as part of her study course. Delicious and embarrassing at the same time. I can remember telling my mother-in-law that I only had time to watch one episode, but no. Could I stop at one? No. Most episodes ended with a cliffhanger, which made it impossible to stop. What was going to happen next? Like a strung-out junkie needing a fix, I had to see just one more. My addiction had us watching 3, 4, and sometimes 5 episodes in a single evening. The diabolical plan of my wife worked. She got her degree as a vegan chef, and I got to enjoy and watch every single episode of Gilmore Girls' 7 seasons on Netflix. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. I, with my wife and mother-in-law, have just watched all 4 episodes of Gilmore Girls, a year in the life. I now have just one more thing to say. Amy, how could you do this to me? I need answers. I need closure. Really? Sincerely yours, Tim, Dr. Hope.